I'm Don McPherson, and actually I'm the chief scientist at Enchroma and the founder. And we're based in Berkeley, California, and I get to direct research towards making products to help people who are colorblind. But before I get into that whole story, I want to show you a video, and this is quite instructive.
Felicity's going to hold up a balloon one at a time, and you're going to tell me what color that balloon is. What color is that?
Orange, red.
Okay. The next one is?
Yellow.
Okay, and the next one is?
Green.
Okay, and the next one is?
Also yellow.
That one.
No, that one.
What color is that one?
Blue.
Okay. Next one?
Also yellow.
Okay, and
That's purple.
But basically, he looked at 6 balloons, and he misnamed all of them except yellow. Right? So we'll come back to this later. This is just half the story. The story really begins in 2003, where I'm a glass scientist originally, and I was making laser safety eyewear in my laboratory in Berkeley and selling it to a few laser safety medical companies in Silicon Valley. And they got in touch with me and said, the surgeons love the glasses. It's the first time they've been able to do surgery and actually differentiate tissue. Because one of the features of these lenses were that they did some wavelength selection filtering and allowed for a greater contrast of colors. But the other thing they told me is that the surgeons were stealing the eyewear and taking them home and using them as sunglasses. So I had this image of them going up and down Highway 1 in their sports car wearing my repurposed sunglasses. So naturally, I started using them as sunglasses. Now fast forward to the latter part of 2003. I was playing Ultimate Frisbee in Santa Cruz, California, and my good friend on my team said, "Can I borrow your sunglasses?" He put them on and he said, "Dude, I can see the cones." And I said, "What are you talking about, Michael?" And he said, "I'm colorblind." I was like, oh boy, because I knew they contrast enhanced for me, and now here's somebody who's colorblind and they seem to be giving him something like normal color. So I said, well, take them off. What do the things look like? He said, the cones are like a dull yellow and the grass is like khaki brownish green. And I said, okay, what does it look like when you put them on? And he said, the cones are, and these are his words, fluorescent orange and the grass is bright green. So I kind of knew I'd stumbled onto something. So what is it? Why do we have color? Colors evolved primarily to help us determine the edge of things. And somebody who has normal color vision, like myself, can see something like between 1 and 2 million colors, different hues. Somebody who's color deficient can see something like 10,000 to 100,000 colors. And this problem affects 350 million people worldwide, about 1 in 12 males and 1 in 200 females. Try to imagine that. This rainbow, color deficient, looks like this, right? A world, no pink, no purple, reds or browns. You have this incredibly flattened perspective of things, so you can't really see the edges of things. So, you go shopping for food, things like this. This is what the world looks like. Everybody I've tested in my laboratory, we always reach this moment where they say, is that purple? It's the craziest thing. And purple is an extraordinarily interesting color because it doesn't have a dominant wavelength. It's a mixture of red and blue. It's like the extremes of the spectra combined together. For some reason, seeing this thing, when they've never seen it before, is this epiphany for them. So I always answer them, I say, yes, that's purple. Because I'm a scientist and I'm fact-based. So I did a bunch of research because I really didn't understand the problem. I'm a glass scientist, not a vision scientist. So I went back, 19th century, standing on the shoulders of giants and all that stuff. Amazing people, Maxwell. And anyways, I found some evidence that it was possible to sort of understand this problem mathematically. And I already had a pseudo prototype. And so I got funding from the National Institutes of Health through the SBIR program. They funded 3 grants. Last year, 2017, received the Tibbetts Award at the White House, one of the great honors of my life, for turning this into a real product. Let me explain this. This is how a way to kind of understand color vision. Imagine these are sort of like your photopigments. These are, you could think of it as sort of like action spectra, like you have these nicely discrete sensitivities to blue, green, and red, and those are your 3 cone classes. And what happens when somebody's color deficient is they have a genetic defect which causes a hybridization of the green and the red photopigments. This is one of the forms called deuteranomaly. Oops. There we go. And this creates like too much correlation for data. So what you need to do is go in and somehow try to restore normalcy, and that's kind of what our filter does. We wavelength select certain things out. Now, why this is important, you have to kind of go into the brain to really understand. There we go. There are at least 1,000 neural mechanisms which are keyed in particular colors. All the primaries, secondaries. Now, of that, you can reconstruct the 1 to 2 million colors if you have normal color vision. And the way these things work is they rely on having the correct ratio of signals from those 3 photopigments, blue, green, and red. You look at something, you get that, the neural mechanism fires. So I think this is a doored perception of color, right? And it has a lock, which is the neural mechanism. And the key, that ratio of photopigments, it has a cut to it. Does it fit? If it fits, you open it up and you perceive color. And when you perceive color, it's a whole different world, right? I mean, we take this for granted. You have to start to really think like, this is a different world. And what I want to do is give access to people who have color deficiency. I want to have a level playing field for them so they can start to see things. I mean, there's safety issues beyond just aesthetic. I want to show you 2 videos.
Can you really see the difference? What's what? Tell me what's what.
Green, blue, orange, red, white, yellow, teal color. Look at your socks.
What else can you do? What color are your socks?
Pink.
Does it look different?
Yeah, it looks a lot.
But there are no assigned color names for Frisbees, or balloons, or Legos. I use all of these in testing, by the way, for that very reason. Now I want to watch, we'll come back to this whole thing of not having an assigned color name in just a second. I'll give you an example of assigned color names. Octagonal says STOP, it's red, right? Curved thing, yellow, it's a banana, right? So we know these things, even if you've never seen them, we know the color name once we see it. So that you can't really rely on that sort of data. This video is absolutely amazing. This guy, the next video, he's a Canadian doctor, works in an ER, and I just found out is running for Parliament.
All right. Try them on.
Okay, so your shirt is like decidedly red.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Is this red?
Yeah.
This is really red?
Yeah. Like a reddy orange.
So this is like super green.
That's green.
This is blue.
Yeah.
It's kind of like actually mind blowing. This purple.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I can't. Look at the cow, man. I can't even imagine how different the world looks. I swear to God. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like,
Now you can go out and like pick out your own clothes and know exactly what color you're wearing.
yeah.
Yeah.
How red your shirt is. I can't even imagine.
I've watched that at least 100 times, maybe 200. I never tire of it. To me, it's like, it has so much in it, right? Because it shows the emotional component. You can see him just, like, he's never seen this before, and suddenly he's seeing it, and you can just imagine him having this shared experience that we all have. And it's so, for me, stimulating. So the big question is, what do we do about education? And I interview adults, and it's like they have PTSD from their childhood experiences. Because why? 80% of information is color-coded in the classroom. Only 11 states test, right? So the teachers don't know who's colorblind. So they don't understand when the child isn't following the instructions. They just think the child isn't very bright. This has been well documented in double-blind studies. So this is a travesty. We need to fix this. Well, how are we going to fix it? Well, it's part of what my job is as an Invention Ambassador, is to find the right people who want to make this happen, right? It's educators, it's legislators, it's concerned parents. We have a woman in she's local. Where is she? Next state over, I don't know, Virginia, yes, Roanoke, who is mandating, she got it done. They're testing in the school system because her child was colorblind. She couldn't stand it. Legislator in New York passed a bill, presented a bill mandating insurance coverage for every child who's colorblind in New York State. This has to continue. So let's go back and revisit.
What color is this? Yellow. What color is this? Green. What color is this? Blue. Red. Purple. Orange.
So you get 6 out of 6. Okay, but you had yellow right the first time. So there's science in this, because we have hundreds of videos like this. What you can do is you can pull out number of incorrect answers, number of correct answers. Remember, there's no assigned colors for balloons. And you can just calculate the probability that his correct color naming is chance. And for that example, it's about 3%. Just from 5 balloons. It's amazing. They're the ideal test subjects because they're completely naive. They haven't, once they do it a few times, you can't rely on it. But so I'm excited about all the information out there. We can help with this, because we can prove finally to insurance carriers and school districts, everybody, that there's evidence. I'm working on some stuff right now that is deep cerebral understanding of what color is, and I've definitively proven that when someone says that's red with the glasses, they are seeing red. They're seeing red. I can't go into it; it would take an hour, but it is like equally as interesting as this. It's just crazy the stuff you can pull out with a carefully designed test. And that's kind of what I invent now, is carefully designed tests. So I thought before I started this project, I kind of had things figured out. I got this phenomenal nomination. I prayed for the ability. I talked with my wife, who's in the audience here, my muse, that I really wanted to be an advocate for children. And she said, well, just make it happen. And it happened. But the question was, that I started to ask was, what is an inventor, and what do we want? Why do we do this? And is it for fame? Is it for glory? Just the sheer enjoyment of accomplishing something, defining a problem and then solving it? Probably all of those. But the big thing for me, it turns out, is this, right? It's like seeing my invention help somebody so profoundly. And knowing that this is just the beginning, that there will be millions upon millions of people helped by this. Who are these people? Well, they might be the future Rosalind Franklins, right? Isaac Newtons. We don't know, because we're not giving them a level playing field to find out. So thank you, Lemelson and AAAS, for this opportunity. And thank you all the people that work for this organization. It's been 2 days of an incredibly fun journey. Thank you all, the inventors too. It's been wonderful to meet everybody. And thank you, audience.